Hello there Steve-Os, and welcome along to this brand new YouTube video here on my channel SteveOfficial. Today we're going to be talking about Justice League and the Snyder Cut version of Justice League as well. Now there is a difference between these two movies. The first one, the original cut of Justice League, which runs at, which clocks in at a running time of just 2 hours long. That was directed back in 2017 by both Joss Whedon and also Zack Snyder. The Snyder Cut, however, which has a running time of 4 hours and 2 minutes long, that was directed by Zack Snyder. Of course, it is kind of the director's cut and also his version of the movie. Now, the reason being is because in the original version of the movie, of course, Zack Snyder did kind of chair the original cut for a short while. He then had some personal stuff going on, which meant that he had to leave the Justice League directing chair, and then Joss Whedon came in to direct the movie himself. Joss Whedon is known for many directorial roles, including the Buffy the Vampire Slayer series as well. So obviously that is why now in 2021, 4 years later after the original cut was released, we have now got the Snyder Cut. And there was also a hashtag Release the Snyder Cut petition running on Twitter as well, which proved to be very, very popular, and then it grew and grew and grew, and then that's when Zack Snyder then decided to make the Snyder Cut, which obviously was released only recently, over the last month or so. So obviously people in America can watch the Snyder Cut via the streaming service HBO Max. If you want to watch the Snyder Cut version here in the UK, then you then either need to have a Sky Cinema pass via Sky, or if you've got the Sky Cinema pass for Now TV here in the UK, then you can watch it on Now TV as well. So there we go. So let's go into the movie then, because if you're going to sit down and watch both Justice League and then straight after watch the Snyder Cut version of the Justice League movie like what I have done, then you're going to notice a pretty big difference. I'll give you a prime example. So, for example, at the very, very beginning of the Justice League movie in 2017, we see some sort of like mobile phone footage of Henry Cavill's Superman, and he's kind of being interviewed by what sounds like children from behind the camera, and they're asking him questions about like saving Earth, for example, and then it kind of cuts, it fades into black, and then it goes on to the next scene. So if you look at that scene and then compare that to the Snyder Cut version of the movie, then you're going to notice a pretty big difference, because the Snyder Cut version of the movie, it kind of starts off in a really dark place. We see Superman screaming out for help. He is literally screaming out for help, and obviously his echoes of screams for help and stuff is going all over the place, so that everyone can hear him screaming out for help. And yeah, it's pretty interesting, to be honest. It really is pretty interesting, the fact that, you know, we can go back and compare these two movies, and straight away you can notice a difference with both of these movies. And it is kind of the same, really, all throughout the Snyder Cut version and the Justice League version. You do notice a lot more has changed with the Snyder Cut version. I mean, they've obviously kept a lot of scenes in from the original 2017 cut in the Snyder Cut version. Of course they have. I'll give you a prime example. Obviously there's a guy that comes out of a van, and he's in London. He goes into this really posh building in London, and obviously there's a lot of I'm going to say school kids in this building, and he plans to blow the building up with them inside the room. So obviously he sets the countdown timer off, and then that's when Wonder Woman comes in and saves the day by obviously you know, using her shields on her arms, her armour on her arms to kind of dodge the bullets from being fired at the children and the adults in the building. And then obviously she's there throwing this suitcase that is got a detonated bomb on it. She throws it out of the building and then boom, it explodes. But the thing is as well is you will notice this if you watch the Justice League 2017 version. You'll notice that she comes flying through in a big entrance through this door. But if you look at the Snyder Cut version of the movie, then you will notice that she comes flying through the ceiling rather than come flying through the doors and making a big entrance that way. So there is little differences there. And there's also another difference that I'm going to say about as well is you've also got this janitor in this building, and basically everyone at this point has gone home, and he's the only one there, and he's there, you know, mopping the floor and stuff, and he hears something going on in the background, so he goes and investigates. Now, in the original cut, we just see these sort of tentacles flying all through the air, and we just see his shocked face as he comes across it, and then it just cuts to the next scene. But in the Snyder Cut version, it goes into a lot more detail, and obviously it kind of shows you a little bit more as to what he was really looking at and stuff like that. And I find that really, really interesting, the fact that this Snyder Cut version of Justice League is very, very detailed, and there are some scenes that you will see in the Snyder Cut version that you don't see in the original cut, and you think to yourself, okay, they've gone a lot more detailed in this scene than they have in the original, and that's what keeps the movie very fresh. So it's not like as if, you know, you're gonna sit and watch the Snyder Cut version of the movie, and for the first 2 hours of the movie you're technically watching the original cut. No, you are technically watching a whole brand new movie with some of the same scenes in the original cut being added in, but except it kind of expands a little bit more in detail in terms of the movie, and that's what, like I said, that's what does keep it really, really fresh and entertaining. And I quite like it. I'll tell you something else as well about the Snyder Cut, is I like the fact that what they did was there was a scene where the Flash was in this store, and basically he couldn't keep his eyes off this woman, and she got into her car, and I think it was the same with her. She couldn't keep her eyes off him either, and basically you know, all of a sudden she kind of loses control of the car. The van kind of crashes into a hot dog stand, and her car is about to crash into this van and stuff. And so we see this really big slow motion sequence of the Flash going out and saving this woman from being killed in this car. And you know what? The whole entire sequence is just so cinematic and so amazingly well done. Honestly, the cinematography in that scene was just so phenomenal. I really, really did enjoy it so much. And there's this really funny scene where the Flash is there in this slow motion sequence, grabbing hold of this hot dog sausage and just sticking it into, I'd probably say sticking it into his trousers to save for later. So there was a bit of a comedic side to that scene, as well as him trying to save the woman that was in that car crash as well in that moment. And yeah, it was just absolutely just an amazing scene. Really did love that a lot. The only thing I didn't really like about Justice League is the visual effects. I felt like the visual effects were a little bit like Star Wars The Last Jedi. If you've seen Star Wars The Last Jedi, then you'll understand. The movie kind of seems to be really, yeah, like the CGI and stuff like that seems to go way overboard. You know, they don't really like to use real fire flames or anything like that for any of the explosive stuff. It's all computer animated explosions and stuff like that, and you know, if you look at that and then kind of compare that to maybe Star Wars The Last Jedi, where they use a lot of CGI in their robots and stuff like that, you kind of get where I'm coming from. And yeah, it's just not right at all. I do think the movie would be a lot better if they used real life explosions rather than using the computer animation type stuff. I would definitely prefer that. And I think that's pretty much it, really. But yeah, I mean, if you was to ask me which version of the Justice League movies would I prefer, well, admittedly, I would prefer the Snyder Cut because it is an amazing movie. It is still fresh. It is brand new. There is a lot of brand new scenes. So a lot of the original cut has kind of been cut from this movie, and they've kind of gone back and reshot certain scenes and to make it all a lot more differently, which is amazing. I like the fact that they've also cut it up into 4 parts as well, this movie, which again keeps the movie nice and fresh. I know that it's 4 hours long, so yes, it is even longer than Avengers Endgame, if you have seen that movie, which clocks in around about 3 hours and 2 minutes long. So I know you're watching this movie for an extra hour, but still, it is an amazing movie, and I definitely do recommend it out of the 2 versions of the movie. And I know that a lot of people out there are giving it positive reviews, and I know that a lot of people are calling for there to be a sequel. I don't know whether or not there is actually going to be a sequel or not. I think that idea has kind of been played down by Zack Snyder himself. So I don't think there is going to be a sequel to this movie. But I mean, you've got some amazing DC superheroes in this movie. You've got Wonder Woman, you've got Cyborg, you've got The Flash, you've got Batman, you've got Superman, you've got Aquaman as well. You know, and all those heroes are just absolutely amazing in the movie. And to be honest with you, I'm not really a huge DC fan, because I do think that DC has got a lot more of a darker tone than what Marvel has, and I know that Marvel is a lot more lighter than DC. But yeah, I mean, obviously for someone that does still watch DC movies, I did enjoy this. So if you are a DC fan out there, or you kinda like DC but not as much as Marvel like me, then yeah, definitely do give this movie a watch, that's for sure. And yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on the movie, if you have sat down and watched the movie for yourself. You know, I'm probably going to say with the Justice League cut of the movie, if I was to give it a rating out of 10, I'll probably just give it a 7 out of 10, purely because of the fact that you know, yes, it is shorter than the Snyder Cut, obviously, but it's just the fact that I don't really like how much CGI is used in the movie. I would rather it have a lot of explosions and stuff like that, like real life explosions, rather than this whole computer animated, oh yeah, look at this, yeah, all these visual effects. Yeah, it just does not look right at all. That's why I give it a 7 out of 10. The Justice League Snyder Cut version, though, I would give probably an 8 out of 10, because yes, it goes into more detail, but also as well because of the fact that, you know, it is a bit of a longer movie. It does go into more detail in terms of certain scenes. Yes, it does use some of the same scenes as it did in the original version. Of course it did. This wasn't an entirely new movie. It wasn't a sequel. It wasn't a follow-up or anything like that. It was just a director's cut of the movie. But again, I do feel as though there was less CGI used in this movie. I feel like there was more real-life explosions, especially with like the glass smashing and stuff like that. I don't think that was all computer animated. I do think that was actually real glass that was being smashed and stuff like that in the movie. So there we go. But yeah, so there we are. So that's my review of both Justice League 2017 and the Snyder Cut Justice League, which was released recently this year in 2021. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Like I said, leave a comment in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on the movie. And if you are brand new around here and have never seen my YouTube channel before and you're liking the content that I provided, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well to become a Steve-O. That is all from me. By the way, I'm just going to add here now that there is going to be some more movie reviews coming up over the next couple of weeks. I've got Tom and Jerry the movie. That movie review will be going up soon. I've also got Godzilla vs Kong movie review coming up. I've also got a His House movie review coming, and also I've got a Kong Skull Island movie review coming up as well on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial. So please check them out when they do get released. And I'm also just going to add as well, do join me in my next YouTube video here on SteveOfficial. It's a good one, I promise you now, it is a good one. It's going to be my Easter weekend vlog. This past weekend, it was Easter weekend. Obviously, I did get to spend a little bit of Easter with my best friend Kyra, so you guys are going to get to see that, and you'll see the rest of everything else that I got up to during that Easter weekend as well. But from me, though, it is goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next YouTube video.